Welcome. Welcome to part 3 of our series called How Social Media Blew Up Our Business, specifically TikTok. Like, let's give credit where credit is due. TikTok really was the epicenter, if you will, of the big blow up. And continues to be, I'm not gonna lie. So in the past 2 parts, if you haven't already watched, we went through sort of what happened in 2021 to blow us up, and then we asked you guys if you had any questions that you want us to answer about social media as a small business and like how it's going and what I do and all the things. And we answered a ton of those questions, but I did not get to all of them. In addition to that, in this episode, I wanted to just give you another little update about what's happened since our last video. Because some things have happened, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I was at a place back when we recorded our last social medias where I was like, very unsure if we were going to see any big moves on TikTok, like any new virals. I was getting to a place where a lot of my videos were just not taking off. Like, we were getting consistent views. It wasn't terrible, but we weren't getting any virals for a very long time. And I don't want to rely on virals. That's not really my thinking. Obviously, that's not a good business plan to rely on viral TikTok videos. But I was like, okay, it's not gonna happen. We're not gonna have virals. I was like, that's it. We're just not. And then it happened. So because we weren't getting a lot of engagement and our organic reach was down, and this happens generally with social media platforms, as time goes on, that is just a reality, right? The platform gets bigger, gets more exposure, more paid ads come, more people hop on the platform. It's harder to get as much organic reach. And I just figured that's what's happening here with TikTok. We're just not gonna have as much viral exposure any longer. That's just our reality. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try different types of content. I'm just gonna try to figure this out. I'm going to still post more. So I took it up from posting one time per day. That's what I was doing for a very long time, was once per day, to I'm gonna do 2 times per day. And after posting twice per day, it took, I wanna say, a few weeks. And then we had like a mini viral. And Christine, I can let you know which one that is here. Maybe you wanna insert that mini viral here. And then we had another one take off, you guys. I posted it 4 days ago as of right now, and it's at 3 million views. Like, what even? So what I've learned from this experience is you really gotta let it go. You gotta let go, and you just gotta see it as like, I am gonna show up and make consistent content. I'm not gonna worry about what it is and how it's doing and how many views I'm getting. I'm just gonna have fun. I'm gonna continue to put out content. And sometimes you just gotta try stuff that maybe you're not spending a whole lot of time on, just to see if it works. So I decided, you know what, like, I was putting in a lot of time and editing and effort into creating these like really fun, like engaging videos where I would show different hairstyles, etc. It's like, what if I just put the hat on, essentially, in a video? Like, I just show me opening it up, putting it on, and like, that's what did it. I just needed to put the hat on. I didn't need to spend hours and hours and hours of videoing. I actually just created both of those videos in the app. I didn't even do any editing outside of that, which is bonkers to me. So all that to say, you can like spend so much time in editing your TikToks, and then what's gonna pop off is something that took you 2 minutes. So you cannot create content like, and spending hours doing it, thinking that that's the one that's gonna pop off. It could be something that you literally did in 2 minutes. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll be able to figure out the monster that is TikTok, and maybe someday we won't. But right now, in this moment, I'm just like not gonna stress it. So anyway, that was my big long story about where we've come, because when we first did our first video, I think we were at 105 followers on TikTok, and now, let me just check. And as of just a few moments ago, we are at 119,000. That's an increase of 14,000. I can do math, I swear to God. So today I am answering the questions that specifically came in on TikTok because I asked on both platforms, Instagram and TikTok, for you to submit questions. And today we're gonna cover the TikTok questions that were put in the comments for my call out for questions. So the first question is, do you have a team to help film? Now, I did a little bit of like behind the scenes of the setup of me getting ready to film this TikTok, and no, there is no team here helping me film this. But shout out Christine, who is on the other end of this video right now editing it, because that can be a very time-consuming thing, and I only have time to just film this stuff. And then Christine, in her great genius that she is, takes it and makes it beautiful. Takes out all the Stacey craziness and leaves them in and makes it as you see in this video. So no team to help film. Christine has come here on occasion to help me film, and we'll probably do that from time to time just for something different, when we have a good idea or when it makes sense for her to come. But for most of it, it's just me setting up the camera, recording what I'm doing, or in this case, setting it up and just chatting with you guys. So, okay, question number 2. How did you get your content ideas? Now, are we saying content ideas for YouTube or content ideas for Instagram or content ideas for TikTok? Like, I definitely have a bit of a different strategy for each of the different platforms, okay? I have come to realize that on TikTok, I don't need to get that personal. It's less about even me talking to the camera, but more just about having as much fun as I possibly can. The other thing on TikTok is I get a lot of inspiration from comments, and this has been something that I've been doing a ton of recently. And I noticed that this was a really great strategy on especially on the viral TikTok videos. The last, I want to say 10 videos that I've made have all been a response to a comment, because TikTok allows you to do that now, which is honestly amazing, because where do I get the content ideas from? The comments. It is perfect and brilliant. So absolutely recommend starting there, because then you're like literally giving people the content that they want to see, because they made a comment on it and now you're using that as your inspiration. So 100% recommend that. Because of the uniqueness of our hat, that in of itself leads to a lot of content pathways, whether it is like the hairstyles, the outfits that you can wear with it. I don't tend to do that a lot because I'm just like, I'm working on my style, but I don't feel like I'm the greatest style influencer. So that tends to be a harder one for me to do, but I am working on it, working on amping up my style. And for TikTok, I do have some pillars that are like behind the scenes. So just trying to think of like, what could I film behind the scenes on? Another great one for TikTok is asking for people's input. So when you ask them questions and get them to help you, like, think of things that you need to do for your business. Like if you have a decision that you need to make, like, involve them. And so I've seen that that's created a lot of engagement with my community, which I plan to do more. I remember I did that with like what colors to add. I did that with like what on the hang tag video we posted, and maybe Christine can put a link to that video for getting ready for a retail order. But we did a whole like call out on like, hey, like which way do you think this hang tag is better? Which way would be better in a retail setting? And that got huge engagement. I did a video like prepping for my Dragon's Den audition, like all of anything that really is going on. I'm trying to think about like, can I create content on this? And especially too, if you can like match it up. And I think we talked about this in our last video actually. It's just like, can you film something that you're already doing? And yeah, it's a little bit extra effort to film it, but it's not like you have to just recreate it from nothing. Like you already have to do this thing. So if you can get creative with that, that also helps. For Instagram, I have a little bit of a different vibe there. A little bit more like motivational, cheery, like vibe. And so there's a little bit more motivational content, a little bit more Stacey herself content, especially that is showing up on my Instagram stories, authentic stuff, which actually seems to do really well on Instagram, because I think you guys on Instagram actually tend to know me a little bit better than the TikTok audience, which is more just like, they just want to see either the hat or something fun happening, and that's pretty much it. I think like obviously your product is something that you're gonna have a lot of conversations about, especially if you're a product-based business. But if you're adding value, if you're a service, like if you're a service, you can just give a lot of free stuff, like free advice, free content away, like that's your avenue. But for product-based businesses, like how do you add value besides your product? And you can't just continue to post about your product all the time or people are just gonna be sick of you. So I have also found that I'm sort of in a weird place with that because I want to add value, but I'm not always sure how. And anyway, I'm still on a journey of figuring that out too. So what was your plan if your business didn't blow up? So I originally, before TikTok blew us up last year, was looking to get into paid advertising. I was actually learning it myself. I was gonna learn it myself because I've been super scrappy on this whole journey. I haven't had a huge budget or any budget per se for marketing. So anything that I could do myself, I was doing myself. And at the time, before TikTok blew up, I was learning Facebook and Instagram ads. And that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna learn Facebook and Instagram ads myself. And if it didn't get like massive traction, I probably would have learned a bunch of other things. I would have had more time to learn them. So I probably would have learned some more about Google paid stuff. And yeah, so I probably just would have tried learning and adding more skills into my tool belt if the organic method hadn't worked. I will say though that I did explore that. I did end up running some of my own Facebook and Instagram ads back in the fall because I did learn some things. I was like, I can do this. And so I did start. And I ran a few campaigns myself, but when it came time to like giving it more of a budget, I did not feel comfortable doing that. Like I just didn't know what key metrics to look for, and I learned everything on my own, but I didn't have like somebody to ask questions to, especially if I ran into trouble. So I just thought that I needed to get an agency to do that. So I hired this agency to help me scale because now I'm at a position where I can add more of a marketing budget behind what we're doing. And I knew that if the plan is to scale the company and get bigger, and I do not have the time to be sitting and managing ads and tweaking and making all the necessary changes. So it was really important that I got that off my plate because being the face of our social media is just too much. So something I had to give, and I think learning the Facebook and Instagram ads was really great because like I now have such a good at least foundation. So when I'm talking to an agency or I'm checking on what the agency is doing, like I understand that they're doing a good job. So I think that was actually really great that I had that experience. Okay, do you batch your content, and when do you post and how often? I haven't been great at my content creation. I've been actually quite last minute, moment of, day of doing it, but I have been trying to fix that, especially when I turned around and started to try to create 2 TikToks per day. So what I have actually started doing is prioritizing creating TikToks. This is the very most important thing to my business. So I'm going to create 2 TikToks before the day even begins. So before I can come here and help out the team and hang out, like I better have my 2 TikToks prepped and ready and done. And if I haven't pre-done them, then like I'm doing that the morning of. Now, I also want to post on weekends, and so that gets a little hairy. So what I have been trying to do is batch content on Fridays. Because we don't run our warehouse on Fridays, we close down and nobody's in. So that's actually a really great day for me to batch create content. So usually on a Friday, I will try to create 6 to 8 TikTok videos that are ready to go so that on the weekend, I can actually kind of chill. And so that even I have some ready for Monday. So if I create 8 on Friday, that's 2 for Friday, and then that's like 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday, and then ideally 2 Monday. I sometimes don't get 8 done, but like if 8's what I'm going for and I get 6, great. And then I can just create some stuff on Monday, no big deal. I do find though that you can't plan TikTok content too far in advance because there's lots of trends that happen and you want to hop on those trends like as soon as you possibly can, really, to get the most exposure. Because if there's a popular sound, TikTok will push out and help your content if that sound is really trending. So you also want to be using sounds that are something that TikTok wants people want to hear. So they get bored, like after a while of a TikTok trend, that sound will start to get very annoying to people. And so then like they will stop pushing out that trend. So you just want to hop on trends early. So you can't create too far in advance, but definitely a few days, like you can create content in advance. And then I will say in busy times, like if I can't do 2 posts per day, I'm gonna just try, like I have to do 1. So 1 is my bare minimum per day, but ideally I'm gonna post 2. Do you spend more time on TikTok than any other platform? Yeah. TikTok and we be real tight. I mean, personally, TikTok is my favorite platform. I love hanging out on Instagram stories. I love that. I wish stories was more popular on TikTok, but it's not. But I do love hanging out on Instagram stories. So like TikTok and Instagram stories, I would say are my favorite places to be. I love Instagram stories because I love like you can create this short content and I can kind of wing it, but I can like add in interaction and then you guys can DM me, and I love how that sort of builds community versus TikTok. It's really entertaining and I love creating that entertaining stuff, but you can't really create community very well on TikTok. Like I do try with managing our comments, and I do have help with managing comments. So like shout out Brittany. Brittany is my friend who also does my eyelashes, and she also, like her part-time job for Ponyback is to help with my comments. So Brittany spends like an hour, depending on the day, half an hour to like, if needed, 2 hours per day, just helping me manage all the comments, because I find that it's super important. Like I want to make sure that everybody's getting a response, and I know sometimes it's not possible for us to get to every single person, but like we're gonna try. So Brittany helps that I can actually physically do that. Okay, next question. How do you keep motivated? All right, I get asked this a lot. People are like, how do you stay so motivated? Where does your energy come from? And listen, I do not always have this energy, this motivation, this vibration that you're feeling. For instance, yesterday was Sunday, and sometimes like when I give myself permission to have a day off, like I'm so not animated, like it's not even funny, like sometimes I just literally need to be just like quiet. And like I had a nap yesterday at my in-laws, like I was literally there to socialize, and I was just like, guys, I'm just so tired, and I had to go have a nap. So I am not a constant Energizer bunny, but obviously that is what I want to bring to social media and bring to you. So I have times where I need to shut it down and I just need to be chill, Stacey, who's like not this vibration. And I think that helps me get that self-care that I need in order to show up and be this energetic self, because that is important to me, for me to show up in this way so I can sort of like energy transfer to other people, because I understand that like the energy in which you show up is infectious. And so if you show up with a great energy, people are going to like take on that energy from you. And I think that's actually something really important in creating social media content, is the energy in which you bring to it. Because if you're bringing an energy that is more like, if you're just having a bad day, like people can feel your vibration. And I absolutely know that, like, I'm sure sometimes when I'm like more stressed, why does this not sound right? When I'm stressed, I can tell that like my vibration doesn't come off in the same way. And so I think that that's kind of true for any content creator, that like whatever you're kind of feeling, people can sense, even though they're not like thinking about it. but they're probably going to be more attracted to the content that you're putting out if they can feel a certain way by just how you're showing up, like that vibration. Something that really, really helps me is listening to music. Like, I can literally be having the worst day, and then like I put on my playlist and I feel instantly better. So I don't know, we probably can't play it. You know the song Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke? I'm absolutely 100% sure that the song is not really appropriate, but I don't know, this song, like, it makes me feel so good after I listen to it. And like sometimes it honestly shocks me like how much a song can just put you in a completely different frame of mind. And so I do find that like if I need to get to a certain vibration, like I gotta put on my tunes. All right. The funny thing about Blurred Lines is I don't really even know the words, but like I'll just make sounds to this song when I'm singing it. So I'm like trying to think back a part of the song that I can sing for you guys, and I'm like, I literally cannot. I don't. The only thing that's coming to mind is like the little segments of little sounds that I make and that make no sense. You don't like work? Da 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 ba ba. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. And I can't even play it. I wish we could play songs on YouTube. That makes me sad, but... Alright, I think we're at the last question. I should really get this done, or this is gonna be like the longest YouTube video of life. So, like, I feel like I maybe answered a little bit of this, but the question is, what made you choose social media to promote your business compared to other traditional ways? So, I mentioned in a previous video, I follow Gary Vee. I love Gary Vee. And Gary Vee talks a lot about attention. Where are people's attention? And people spend a lot of time on social media, probably more time anymore than reading a magazine. Like, what other traditional channels would I even do? Like, I guess like pop-up events or like going to places. I couldn't do that because of COVID and it didn't make sense, and honestly I didn't really want to. I don't really want to go. I don't want to go out, you guys. I'm like, I know, I love to bring my extroverted self when I can, but I am naturally an introvert, so I did not want to go to events. And so like it being COVID times, like it just kind of was perfect for me. What I was going to say was that Gary Vee talks a lot about where are people's attention, and people's attention are on social media. And you know, it was Instagram for a long time. That was like most of their attention was on Instagram. And now that place is TikTok. Like the new and emerging social medias are gonna get a lot more organic exposure. And so that was my decision-making process, was like people's eyeballs and people's attention are on social media. And he also talks about underpriced attention. So recently, paid social media advertising has gone up, but you could get more impressions for less dollars using social media than what you could traditional methods. Print, like billboards. I'm not sure I would do a billboard at this state. Like in person, like I have to weigh how many impressions can I get by spending an hour on a TikTok video versus how many impressions can I get on going to an in-person event. So that's what it kind of comes down to. And I think that's where you have to decide, how do you want to best spend your time? So for me, having small children, not wanting to go out, it being COVID times, like it all made sense and wrapped up to make sense. I will tell you that if COVID hadn't have happened, I was signed up to go to an event at the end of March 2020. I was going to go to an event. I was going to sell pre-orders to my hats. We weren't going to launch until June, but at the end of March, it was like this big like women's event that had like lots of like exhibitors and small businesses exhibiting their products, and so I was going to go to that event. I had signed up, but that event got canceled because of COVID and the COVID lockdown. So again, part of me, I don't know, like I also can't go back in time either. It was just the time and the place, and it was COVID, and it was like social media just makes a ton of sense. Impressions, views, where are people hanging out? Where are people hanging out, especially in COVID? I mean, like, I haven't seen, or I can't reference stats, but like I'm absolutely certain that a lot of people like went on TikTok for the first time during COVID because like there was nothing else to do. So it was right time and right place there, absolutely, for sure. But I think social media is just a really scrappy way for you to get exposure without needing to spend a lot of money. Because the thing that you have when you're small is time. And so I'm just decided I'm just going to be as scrappy as I can on this thing called social media. And again, it feels right, and I feel like I have the skill sets to make it happen, and so that's why. But if there's any other questions that came up after watching this episode about our social media journey, please drop them below. I would absolutely love to continue the conversation in the comments, but I'd also love to hear like what are you doing right now in social media? How is social media going for you? Is social media taking off in the same way that it did for me? If it's not taking off in the same way for me, then like what are your current challenges with social media? Interested to hear sort of where you're feeling stuck, and maybe that will lead into our next video. Thank you so much for being here. I talked a lot about what I was doing on social media, but if it truly wasn't for you guys who have shown up on social media for me, for whatever reason that was, we wouldn't be here. Like I literally wouldn't be in this warehouse or doing these things or like getting a retail order. Like it's pretty incredible, and I am forever grateful to the end for this community. And I do not take that lightly. So now we gotta take it down, put it away, wrap it up. Anyway, as always, thanks so much for being here. If you haven't already, if you could like and subscribe. Let's do that over. If you haven't already, if you could like and subscribe to our channel, I would be super grateful. And as always, see you next time. Have an amazing week. Bye.